Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jeezy TV. I know that was a little loud, my fault. We're back with another video, and we're here to talk about Drake's new EP, Scary Hours 3. Nice little review for you guys. So yeah, Drake has dropped another Scary Hours EP, and I mean, the man was rapping like the rent was due. I think this is the third Scary Hours, right? I mean, Drake has been dropping more frequently than ever in his career, and he's 15 years into it. I mean, you gotta give the guy credit. He just keeps coming back, keeps dropping music. It's amazing. I think he's dropped like 4 or 5 bodies of work over the last like 4 years. He dropped Honestly Nevermind last year. Then he dropped Her Loss. This year he dropped For All the Dogs, and now the Scary Hours 3. And the year before all that, I think he dropped... I want to say he dropped Certified Lover Boy that year, but it might have been the year before. I think 2021, yeah. I mean, I think that's the year he dropped. Or maybe it was 2020. It was the same year as Kanye dropped, I believe. That's how I know. I mean, you got to give this guy some credit, man. He has been going crazy. But anyways, without further ado, let's go track for track. Getting into the first track on this EP is Red Buttons. You know, we got a very dark track where Drake isn't holding back any punches with the Kanye line and just unnamed people just dissing a bunch of people. Like, rapping about shit people don't want to hear, and I feel like that's a really big topic, a discussion on this album. And Drake is just saying it how it is, you know, speaking the truth. You know, he's noticed a lot of things in society recently, and yeah, I mean, it really sets the tone as well. I mean, it's a pretty dark record. Like, these 6 tracks are pretty dark in general. Drake isn't like a happy guy here. He's throwing punches, he's talking a lot of shit. I mean, technically, Scary Hours 3 is almost like a deluxe to For All the Dogs, because all these songs were for sure recorded during the Fat D era, because he actually said before that these songs were made within 5 days of the release of the album. He didn't write anything down, went in the studio, kind of spoke his mind. I think that's a really cool way to record an album as well. Gotta give him credit for that. You know, he can pop off in the studio at any moment. I mean, that's what the red button means. He can press that record button at any moment. So, yeah, really dope track here. Next, we got Stories About My Brother. Drake doesn't actually have a brother. He's an only child. I'm sure he's just talking about, like, a homie as a brother. Obviously, like, this guy's family to him, and he's, you know, talking him up and stuff. Yeah. It's a very braggadocious track, though. You know, Drake's obviously doing the normal rapper stuff, you know, talking shit like, oh, I got this, I got that, you don't have any of this. But then he always brings it back to his brother. It's like, let me tell you about my brother. Like, this is a guy that is a ride or die. He'll do anything for me. You know, he's one of my hitters, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. And it's awesome to see him work with, once again, Griselda collaborator, Conductor Williams, who he works with on Fat D. I need to stop calling it that. On 8 a.m. in Charlotte, it was actually like a single he dropped on Instagram, like the night before the album came out, which again, it's crazy to think that album came out at 6 in the morning. It makes sense, though. A lot of stories are told, a lot of moments are had. I mean, that's something you can say about this album in general. There's a lot of storytelling. There's a lot of funny moments that are pretty unforgettable here. It gives you like those 8 a.m. in Charlotte vibes, and that makes sense, of course, because Conductor Williams produced that track as well. It's got the same sort of cadences and the patterns, and, you know, he's kind of talking about the same things. So, yeah. The Shoe Fits is the third song on this EP, and this seems to be a song kind of for the critics, you know, just discussing the whole Miss Neil Drake thing, like, where's this old Drake at? Where's the mixtape era? Where's that Take Care Drake? Or like the If You're Reading This Too Late, Nothing Was the Same, you know, all those classic albums out of Drake. And he's trying to tell you guys he doesn't know how to do that anymore, as a sarcastic thing, of course. You know, he didn't deliver his promise on For All the Dogs. Like, oh, this doesn't sound like old Drake. This just sounds like another Her Loss or another, like, you know, Loverboy, Certified Lover Boy type of album. I mean, I can agree to an extent. There were definitely a couple songs on there, though, that bring you back kind of to that old melodic R&B, mellowish Drake, which is awesome. You know, he discusses a lot of problems with society, you know, fake gangsters, women selling their bodies online, social media taking away from reality, a lot of other things. So, yeah, really dope topics discussed here. The Harden bar was super unexpected. I was listening to that while I was hitting cardio because, you know, I'm on that grind. I've lost like 9 pounds already. I listened to that. I was like, wow. I mean, yeah. It's a really interesting record for sure. Next track is Wickman. I mean, this is probably one of the weaker tracks in here, if I'm being honest. I mean, he's kind of comparing himself to John Wick. It's like this classic, like, hip-hop trope or, like, this hip-hop cliche, like, oh, I can murder all of you guys on a record. Like, empty clips, man. I'm taking my shots. Like, it's getting a little old in hip-hop. I've seen Eminem, guys like Eminem, hell, even guys like J. Cole wear that whole, like, thing to the ground. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of that. I don't know. It's Drake's introduction to The Alchemist, though. This is his first time working with him. One of the more iconic producers, at least to this generation. I mean, he should be. I mean, he's worked with Freddie Gibbs. He's had collaboration EPs with, like, Earl Sweatshirt, and he's executive produced a lot of great, maybe not super mainstream records, but it's really cool to see Drake get together with all of these producers. I think it's really cool. It's a great producer. I mean, the Ice Spice bar was funny, like the Munch thing, that was hilarious. Each song kind of has its moments, so yeah. Then we get Evil Ways. We get another J. Cole collab on this EP. He was on Fat D. Again, I need to stop saying that. But man, 2 J. Cole Drake collabs in a month is an insane thing. Prior to this, they've only been together 2 times on a record with Jodeci Freestyle. I can't remember the other one, but Jodeci Freestyle they were together on. I really like the sample on this track. Really good production on Evil Ways. First Person Shooter is definitely a better track for comparison, but who doesn't at least enjoy this record a little bit? I feel like there's a decent amount brought to the table. You know, J. Cole brings some nice bars. Drake is obviously entertaining the entire time. It's a fun song. I mean, it's not great. It's not a track that I'll necessarily go back to over and over again, but I don't mind this track at all. The last track on the EP was You Broke My Heart. I mean, there's not much to say. It's probably one of my favorite songs on the record. I wish I had more to say about this, but I just don't. I mean, the Smiley ad-libs were hilarious. The beat drop was insane. There's some awesome bars on here from Drake. Probably some of his best out of the EP and damn near on For All the Dogs. You know, it's awesome. It's a chill little track with some fire hype moments. Shout out to Drake, man. I feel like he delivered here, for sure. Reviewing the album in its generality, there's a lot of entertainment to this. I mean, it's a really fun listen. You know, Drake getting into that storytelling bag, you know, exposing people, like that James Harden shit. Like, I don't know if James Harden really appreciated that out of Drake. It's a lyrically focused EP. Depending on your taste, you may or may not like it. I mean, I'm not, like, I love lyrical hip-hop. Like, I love rappers like Lil Wayne, Nas, Jay-Z, Eminem. I mean, also like Kendrick Lamar, even Kanye West can get a little lyrical at times, excuse me. I don't know. If you don't like lyrical music, you're not going to like this. You're going to think, oh, it's boring. Let me turn on a hype track or something like that. But you got to appreciate what Drake is doing here. The artistry is definitely present on here, and it's damn near more present on this record than we've seen on, like, damn near any Drake album since, Views, maybe? I think Views is his last, like, really good album to me. More Life was pretty solid. I don't know. He came up with these songs on the fly. I mean, it's just showing how talented he is. Like, oh, I can create 6 tracks in 5 days and just throw it out to you guys like it's nothing. Because I'm Drake, because I'm talented. I'm popular for a reason. It's not because, like, I'm some sort of, like, industry plant. I built myself from the ground up here. Like, you got to appreciate it, for sure. I mean, with this EP, he felt like he had something to prove. Got him a super long way here, too. Like, musically, this is a really solid piece of work out of Drake. I really appreciate this. Like, sure, the songs aren't going to have a whole lot of replay value. Sure, they're not going to be the talk of the town necessarily. But it's awesome. I mean, Drake, you know, breaking ground, working with different producers, trying new things. 15 years into his career, that's not something you see that often. And I have a decent amount of praise. It'll definitely be overrated. I know, like, the Drake dick suckers on Twitter and whatnot are going to be talking this up. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking to you. But it's still a really good record. I really, really rate this one. It's a pretty interesting experience, you know. I don't have much to say. I'm out. I really appreciate your guys' love on that Draymond video. I'm going to get this edited on, I've been using CapCut. Shout out to them. I'm going to get this edited on CapCut real quick. Get this out to you guys. Probably listen to some new music throughout the day. We're going to be having an NBA recap tonight. Pretty much every night of the break. We're going to be doing that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, man. Have a good rest of your day, guys. GCTV, I'm out.